So then the transition from retiring from being a professor,
Yeah.
reporting, you wrote a textbook as well,
Oh yeah.
and moving from the southern state, you said Texas, and now you're, I think from Texas to Mississippi,
Yeah. Well, I started in New Orleans,
Right.
and my first job was in a little town called Opelousas, and I stayed there 3 months and got fired, and I went back to New Orleans, and then in New Orleans transferred me to Jackson, Mississippi, and it transferred me to Miami, and it transferred me to Tallahassee, and then I took a job in Denton, and Denton sent me to A&M, because the Navy was in there, so I was in San Diego.
So you've been some places.
I've been some places, yeah.
You met some new faces here and there, and different people. And now you're tutoring
Yes.
at the University Center. This is your 5th semester.
Yes.
How are you liking it?
Oh, I'm enjoying it. It's an interesting thing. What really surprises me, I'm looking at what these, and we're talking about freshmen and sophomores in college, yeah? And I'm talking about the ones who grow up here, real Americans. There's a lot of foreigners coming, but I expect them to have difficulties because English may be their 4th or 5th language.
Right.
But the others, English is the one and only language a lot of them speak. And I learned stuff in grade school that these kids don't know.
So is there a gap in the learning? Like, or are they just kind of somehow finding a loophole and skimming by and finding their way in college?
I don't think they're doing that. I think we're not taught as much as we were taught. And I've talked to other people who finished school 30, 40 years ago. We learned a lot of punctuation and grammar in grade school.
And some college students are struggling. So you're saying that, like, natural born, like when you say real Americans, you're saying natural born Americans,
Yeah.
their parents and every generations have been here.
Yes.
English is their first language.
Yes.
They're struggling with some of the fundamental aspects of writing and just English,
Yes,
So
exactly.
if you're an immigrant or refugee, we understand that there's going to be some struggles because, this is like your 4th language, so, but like for those that native English speakers here in America, to struggle in higher ed, that's,
Exactly.
is that like mind blasting to you? Is that kind of like, wow, like,
Yeah. Well, at first, I thought, holy smoke, this is crazy,
Yeah.
But now, since it's happening all the time, it must be normal today.
wow.
Well, now I have 3 grandkids here, and one of them is 12 years old, one's 10, one is 6 or 7, yeah. And if they drop something in the house now, it's on the floor, on the ground. What do you mean it's on the ground? There's no dirt. But that's what they call it, that's the ground.
Not the floor.
Not the floor, no.
Do you correct it, or you just, because you don't want to step on toes?
Well, I don't know what my daughter and her husband tell them, but I think that is a floor. I'm sorry, it's not the ground. They're the ground out there.
Yeah. Wow. So there's just I guess, cultural change in America of how people are speaking now and how they're understanding the language and
the language.
Wow.
Well, the thing about it, if I'm telling you something, I've got to tell it to you in the language you understand. If I tell it to you in my language, there's no communication. You don't speak my language, you can't understand it. So I have to find out what you understand. And these kids, they've not been taught where to put a comma and why you put a comma there, because it changes the whole sentence. in some senses. It could reverse the meaning. Now, if I speak it to you, because I have a pause in what I say, which is where the comma would go, you recognize that and you understand what I'm saying. But if you read it, he didn't say this.
Yeah, it's a whole different context.
Yeah, that's right.
Completely different context. Wow. Yeah. The comma it should be like the stop sign. You gotta call us.
Exactly. Yes. It's just a small period. The period ends it, but the comma pauses it. Yeah.
So thank you for getting the students here back calibrated, so they can, especially if they're going to continue on to like grad school and things like that. They're gonna. It's gonna be very tough if they don't get the fundamentals locked down.